Oh, it's a terrifying thought, but your brain starts to die just 3 minutes after your heart stops beating. But what happens in those few minutes is, well, it's like watching an entire city suffer a total blackout in fast forward. So, let's start the clock on that 5-minute countdown. We're going to see why every single second is a desperate fight for survival.
3 minutes. Just think about that. That's the number. It's the amount of time it takes for the most complex thing we know of in the entire universe, yep, your brain, to begin shutting down for good once the heart gives out. But the real story, the real nail-biting drama, all unfolds in the moments leading up to that point. So, what is actually going on inside your body during that make-or-break 5-minute window?
Okay, the clock starts right now. Your heart has just stopped. And for the first 10 seconds, and this is incredible, you're actually still conscious. You might feel this huge wave of dizziness as blood flow to your brain just stops. Instantly. Your body is screaming a silent, frantic alarm, and right at this moment, scientists have seen something wild. A massive, last-gasp surge of electrical activity in the brain. It's almost like a final, desperate flare being shot up before the lights go out completely.
And this is exactly why the brain is in so much trouble. Just think of your heart as a delivery truck for oxygen, okay? Well, your brain is its greediest customer. It demands a whopping 20% of the entire supply. So when that delivery truck suddenly stops running, this is the customer that starts to starve first.
So, after those first few seconds of consciousness just fade away, the body enters this really strange limbo state. And it's right here that we find the absolute critical difference between being clinically dead and biologically dead. This is the golden window where a rescue is still possible.
The shutdown is just shockingly fast. It's systematic. In just 15 seconds, you lose consciousness, you collapse. By 30 seconds, your pupils dilate. That's a huge signal for any first responders. Then at the 45-second mark, you are officially clinically dead. No pulse. And by the time a single minute has passed, breathing has stopped completely. So here's the most important thing to get. Clinically dead isn't the final curtain. Not yet. It's really just a medical term for the moment the heart stops pumping. And at this stage, yeah, the body's cells are starving, they're in a massive crisis, but they are very, very much still alive.
And this is the critical difference right here. Clinical death, that's a state you can come back from. It's a window of opportunity. Biological death, on the other hand, that's the point of no return. That's when those starving cells actually start to die off, causing damage that you can't undo. This is exactly why CPR is so vital. It's not trying to hit play again. It's trying to keep the body on pause instead of letting it hit stop.
But if no help arrives, the body starts to cross that line. And now we're entering the most dangerous phase of all, a cascade of internal injury, where the systems designed to keep you safe begin to fail and fail catastrophically.
At the 2-minute mark, the first dominoes start to fall. Brain cells, desperate for oxygen, begin to die. And the first ones to go are the most complex ones. The very cells that hold your personality, your memories, everything that makes you, well, you. What's really happening is the body is basically self-destructing. The process is called apoptosis. You can think of it like a built-in self-destruct code that gets triggered when the oxygen runs out. The cells are essentially being ordered to terminate themselves. It's wild. By the 3-minute mark, we've hit that grim milestone we talked about at the very beginning. At this point, if no CPR has started, the chance of surviving without some kind of major brain damage just plummets. We're talking less than 10%. The clock is ticking down with just brutal efficiency. And as we get close to 4 minutes, this chain reaction just picks up speed. As each brain cell dies, it bursts open and releases these toxic chemicals that poison the cells next to it. And then those cells die and release their own toxins. It becomes this devastating, self-perpetuating cycle of destruction.
And now, here we are, the 5-minute threshold. It's often called the point of no return. The odds of a full recovery from here are incredibly slim. But this is also where some of the most profound and fascinating mysteries surrounding death start to crop up.
You know, some people who are brought back from this point describe these powerful near-death experiences. And scientists are totally divided. Is it just the brain's electrical system misfiring as it shuts down? Or is it something else? Something we just don't understand yet?
And then you have these stunning exceptions to the rule. People who've drowned in freezing cold water have been revived after 20 minutes, sometimes even longer. The intense cold acts like a biological pause button, slowing the body's metabolism way, way down and cutting the brain's need for oxygen, preserving it for much longer than it should be possible.
So, After seeing this whole cascade of failure, the takeaway isn't to feel hopeless, it's to feel urgent. Because this entire process, it can be interrupted. This isn't just a countdown to death. It's a race against time where someone stepping in can change everything.
I mean, just look at the numbers. They show you exactly how steep and unforgiving this race is. For every single minute that goes by without CPR, the chance of survival drops by a staggering 10%. Time is, without a doubt, the single most critical factor here.
But this chart, this is where the hope comes in. Doing CPR doesn't actually restart the heart. What it does is act like an artificial pump. It manually forces just enough oxygenated blood through the body to keep the brain from dying. And the impact is incredible. It can literally triple a person's chances of survival.
And then when paramedics show up, they're bringing a whole arsenal of advanced tools with them. Defibrillators to shock the heart back into a rhythm, powerful meds, advanced airways to force life-saving oxygen into the lungs. They're continuing the fight that CPR started. But even for the people who are brought back, the journey is so far from over. Surviving this 5-minute ordeal brings up this really profound philosophical question that sticks around long after the physical fight is won. That trauma of oxygen deprivation can leave behind some deep, lasting scars. Recovery might mean dealing with memory loss, or huge personality shifts, or even having to relearn basic things. The person who wakes up, they might not be the same person who collapsed. And that leaves us with this final, kind of haunting question. Our consciousness, our personality, our memories. That's what makes us who we are, right? So if those things are changed, or even erased during those 5 minutes, what does that mean for our identity? If you're brought back, are you really still you?